Somebody.
No, it's
This is gonna sound real grabby. Oh, there we go. That's what I needed. Hey,
There it
thanks,
is.
Radio Matt.
Radio Matt.
Thank you.
Look at him coming in, reading my brain. And
I know,
30
seriously,
months.
if you want to, like, guys,
Like you guys are one person.
I'm gonna
finishing each other's
Sandwiches.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna brag on Radio Matt, and
Okay.
so
I'm listening.
some of the stuff. This is just this is not like bragging on me. I'm really legit bragging on him, and I have to preface this. But leaders should brag on like the people that work for them and work with them, and celebrate the wins publicly, not just privately. Anything that you see on YouTube is Radio Matt.
That's
like
true.
literally anything, and he is working on a video. it's done, I think. About when we're talking about this a little bit today, our 5-year birthday, and when I tell you that I watched this video, it brought me to tears. You might watch it and go, "That was a decent video," right? you might not have the same feelings that we at LTN have, but it made us feel some things that I haven't honestly felt in a while.
I've felt it in many moons.
And
hey,
so
you okay, you crying?
No, I was trying to look at
She's holding
something and
his
I couldn't
sneeze.
read it.
You know the face you make when you're holding a sneeze. But anyway, he made this thing, and literally Anna was like, Did you guys talk a lot about this? And I said, we had one meeting. And it was
Can we do this thing? And you're like,
I was like, oh, hey, it'd be great. This video that you should make with all of the other things that are going on in your life.
I know.
And so I say this. Hey, Brady, thank you so much for that.
He had a vision and he ran with it. Like, it was him.
Yes, we mentioned it in a meeting once, and then he just did it, and it was fantastic. Like, honestly, it's one of those things that's like, dude, I've thought for a while, like, what would the rise and fall of LTN be like? Or like, what's that podcast? What's that Netflix series? And I usually always have those thoughts when like things are not great at LTN, like behind the scenes. Like sometimes something will happen, and we'll be like, we had a good run, you know. But it's good to kind of think about that. Like, man, it's almost one of those how it started, how it's going kind of situations now. And I told my wife last night, because I've watched it every day since he sent it to me, multiple times a day.
Wow.
And it's one of those deals where I was watching it and she was sitting here, and I was saying to myself, man, it's just so good. Sometimes I feel like nothing's really happening because, you know, it's like boiling a frog when you're there the whole time. And so
I wouldn't know about that. I've never
boiling
boiled
frogs.
California
Okay,
stuff.
pretend it's Sims.
Come on.
We don't do that.
Boiling
here.
Sims.
Yeah. Simothy.
And so anyway, like I was like, man, it's just good to see like where we started and hear stories briefly even, but like to watch the montage, so many clips, man.
He pulled some crazy stuff. I was like, I don't know what this is. What is this?
I almost every single one of those things that I had a memory of, like I was there for that. Going back to that first call that we did with everybody, that one's some feels right there. That is some big feel. Drew, I'm not gonna.
Don't say anymore. Don't say
it.
anymore.
I'm not gonna spoil a thing that happened 5 years ago.
This is what I'm gonna say. While you're watching it, everyone, hopefully you watch it. Then we're gonna start this podcast.
Are we?
Just look for how many costume changes I had. Okay.
Yes. Hey there, and welcome back to the Free Play Podcast. Once again, my name is Bubba, joined with Matt and Kate. And this week, right here, right now, we are celebrating our 5th anniversary as Love Thy Nerd.
HBD, what'd you get me?
Oh,
MBD,
HBK.
HBD. What did we get you?
Kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Nothing.
Oh.
Well, actually, that's from all of us.
I don't know why I wasn't
all of
expecting
you.
that. For some reason, I thought you might say like something, and I'm like, really?
Well, here's the thing. You were correct. I was going to say something, but usually those days just come to me, you know. But it just didn't come to me.
Yeah,
So
it's a
I went with
used
nothing.
Starbucks gift card. How about that?
Yeah, one with nothing. Thanks.
Yeah, a Starbucks gift card.
It's a Starbucks gift card with just enough money to not be able to spend it.
Well, yeah, you'll have to.
And that's how they get you, ladies and gentlemen.
$4.
Don't trust your government, okay?
Yep.
All right, Kate, you've
well,
got some stuff here.
Yes. I am so excited to present to you all Inside the Free Play Studio with James Lipton.
Oh,
Just kidding. Just kidding. He's actually not here. And in case you don't know what that is, there was a thing called Inside the Actor Studio where this guy, James Lipton, would sit down and interview these people and ask them stuff. And I was inspired by
I
Radio
prefer
Matt.
Between Two Ferns.
Okay, that's another one.
Yeah.
Another good example.
oh, I was right. I went to Lipton Soup.
I've
the
never even
tea.
heard of Lipton soup.
Lipton
Yes, you
Soup.
have. Yes, you have.
No,
Just
I
trust
have
me on
not.
that one.
I'm telling
Just
you
trust
right
me.
now I
You've
haven't.
tasted it. You've tasted it. I guarantee you.
Lipton Soup.
Okay, back to what's important. This big interview we're doing. I was inspired by Radio Matt interviewing us. So I came up with an interview for us. for
Yeah, I
us
looked at
here.
these questions earlier, Kate. I'm not sure. We'll see what my answers are here.
Why
I'm
don't
ready,
you-
but I might not have good answers. Just prepare your body for that, okay?
Okay, I don't know if we'll even get through all of them. So
I
I, might
know.
skip
There's
around.
some
Why are
I
you
want
just yelling at
answers.
each other?
We haven't
Okay,
seen each other in
okay.
a couple weeks.
Okay,
We're letting it all out right now.
That's fair.
James Lipton always does it in silence, and then he asks the question. So shh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
No, just in 2008, Matthew McConaughey shut down his record label and film production company. Here's a quote from him. I was making B's in 5 things. I want to make A's in 3 things. How can this be applied to the future of LTN?
All right. Making B's in 5 things.
The
And he
B
wants to
movie,
make
yeah.
A's
The
in
B
3
movie.
things.
Oh, he made the B movie.
Here's
No,
I
okay,
guess let me start with this with saying this. Like when we first started this, I feel like having that level of like excellence has always been at the top of like what we did and how we did it. So it's hard for me to say what's the B thing. I know there are.
No, you don't have to say the B things. That was just the quote from Matthew. The question.
Take the B's out, Matt. Maybe
What?
they're
Okay.
hornets.
Killer B.
Okay, this interview is going terribly wrong. Okay.
What's okay?
It's
Then
already
ask me the
going-
question
so-
again.
okay,
so
no,
the-
Ask me the question again.
The essence of this question is you were doing fine in most things. How do you do great in a few
Yes.
things?
What are
How do
our
you
plans
focus?
to move towards trying to do great in a few things? You want me to
Well,
answer the
we've-
question? I have a good answer, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to
okay,
hear
well,
your answers. Yeah,
Okay,
please.
well, my answer is I think that it is easy for us to have tons and tons of ideas and want to do every single idea there is, and all the ideas are important. But how can we in 2023 and going forward make A's in 3 things? So narrow it down and pick like what do we really, really, really want to throw our weight behind in the year?
We'll have to pick 3 things?
No, you don't have to pick 3 things. That's just what Matthew was saying in his example.
That's Mr.
I didn't
McConaughey.
say it.
Thank you
I
very
mean,
much.
what I mean, like NCMS is a good. Okay, you know what? Let's just move on to the next.
No, Kate. I want to hear your
skip
answer.
Down, I want to skip down like 3 more.
I want to
We
hear
can
your
handle
answer.
it. That was my answer. We're
Oh.
trying to make an effort to focus more on.
Her
on,
answer is the question.
I
What are
thought
we
you were
doing?
going to.
No,
yeah, I
we're
thought you were going to
trying
give
to
me
we're trying to focus more on certain things. Like look at what we're doing this year. NCMS. That's a big deal. That's
Yes.
something that sums
Mhm.
up
Yes.
everything that LTN believes in. That's more like focused
Yeah.
of let's do this thing. Let's make an A in this thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I can speak to that like real quick because I think that is super duper important. We're doing this thing, NCMS, NCMS,
Yeah, there you go.
Nerd Culture Ministry Summit. Now, at the top level, what we're trying to do is we're trying to like consolidate and normalize terminology around these things that we've been doing for, I mean, honestly, some of us almost 15 years,
You
like
quit
for
it.
a very long time. And that's just like officially, right? Playing games with people, loving them the way that Jesus would. We've been doing a lot of that for longer. This is just an official capacity. And so what we're trying to do is we found that we were kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, like beating our heads against a wall, a proverbial wall, with every time we would bring people into, like on mission trips, not every single person, but there were some times where we'd have to do a lot of like heavy retraining, like reprogramming of, hey, I know that this is what you've been taught and told, but when you're in this group of people, here's how we need to actually talk to them so that we speak their language, and we're not like bringing church to them, for lack of a better way to put that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what the whole mindset behind NCMS is that we're going to market. My home church here, First Baptist Church of Marble Falls in Texas, is going to be the hub for it for this year. It's going to be the venue, and we're marketing to a 300-mile-ish, give or take, radius. And so that's going to get us up to Dallas, Fort Worth, out to Houston, down to San Antonio, Austin, and even out to the Midland, Odessa area. And so really, we're just marketing to people who can drive down to this thing so that it's accessible to them.
I'm not driving.
And so that we can, better drive. And so that we can create like pockets and networks to say, hey, you're in Houston. Here's actually 5 other, churches and organizations that were at NCMS that can kind of partner with you in this thing that you're trying to do. And so we're trying to kind of like get in at the root, really, and not make it about LTN. That's not what we're here to do. It's about how do we better train, equip, and empower people to better love and serve the nerds in their space by starting at the base of it, which is church culture, right? And saying, hey, with 3.2 billion with a B registered gamers in the world, they are already in your congregation. They're already coming to your church. The numbers are there. It's a law of averages at this point. How do you better like see them, source them, and minister to them in the space? And so that's what we're trying to do, is just build the bridge between nerd culture and church culture.
By making A's in 3 things, not B's and 5 B's. See?
One time I got all A's.
See what I mean?
Grade.
See what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Bubba, for that answer. It was almost
good answer.
It was almost as good as
else,
mine. It was almost as good as mine. The one that
I'm serious. If anybody is like interested in learning more about that, we're working on the website, we're working on all the marketing, we're working on getting all that stuff done. Once it's done, we will not be able to shut up about it. But if you're interested in being a part of that, let us know, and we'll get you all of that information either now or later when we have it.
Well, okay, great. Thank you.
And here's the double A. Here's the A plus. Okay.
Whoa.
If it works.
What's the A plus?
This is if, right? If it works and it is like successful, then it will not be here next year. Next year, we'll take it and move the whole thing to a different part of the country, because we're not trying to create a Texas thing. We're going to move it into different areas of the country so that we can create those pockets and those multiplication structures and those networks in different areas across the country. I yield my time.
Okay.
All right. Our friendship has spanned not just the 5 years of LTN, but several years before that. I couldn't remember how many, so I just put several. What are some memories that you have related to the 3 of us specifically that you look back on with fondness or fear?
Can I just say, like, real quick, we've been doing this podcast longer than we knew each other before this podcast, which is
yeah, that's accurate.
It just
that's
hit me. And I should. I mean,
true.
obviously, it's an obvious thing, but I just never think of that.
I don't either, so that's a good point.
That's wild.
Well, my fond memory, I feel like this memory that I have summed up my friendship with Bubba. Then,
I cannot wait.
And, well, you already know what it is. Then, now, and forever in the future, it was like a microcosm of summing everything up. And it's when we went to In-N-Out Burger and I ate his burger. And he specifically said no onions, and I didn't even notice. And I just ate his burger. That was man. I hadn't even met you in person for like an hour when that happened.
And you had 0 cares.
I didn't even notice. It didn't even occur to me. And Bubba was like, there's onions on this. And that's my picture of you. My contact picture of you in my phone is you picking onions off the burger.
Never forget.
It is the best. It is the funniest thing.
I'm still mad about that, actually.
It just sums up everything. And just watching you like sit there, pick the onions off with like your face was just like,
that's my life, by the way, just in case anybody is wondering. Like I will never send food back to the kitchen, and I will make do with what I have. So like people would be like, oh man, we ordered that pizza, why didn't you tell us not to put all this nasty gross stuff on there like onions and mushrooms and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just pick it off. It's fine. It's fine. And they're like, no. Hey, and like, it's done.
Yeah,
like,
I guess I haven't been around.
Uh,
I guess maybe there's one time I remember you just eating it, but for the most part, I think it's all
Just pick
been
it off.
okay.
Yeah, just
well,
pick it off.
you picked it off, and I'm like, that is.
I'm
funny.
never that hungry. Like, okay,
That is
let's
funny.
just.
That's also true. You're busy, distracted. 30 more minutes.
It just sums up everything. I look back on that moment fondly because it just was so spot on, dead on.
Oh yeah, nothing wrapped up our relationship better than like, hey, what do you want? I would like this specific thing. No,
Yeah.
I'm listening to you, absolutely. And then
Yeah,
when push
here's
comes
yours.
to shove, you're like, I'm gonna eat it. The thing that
No,
gets me
no.
is that you ate that whole burger without noticing there were no onions on it.
No, I was hungry.
I don't know if
so-
I would have noticed there were no onions. Like if there were like no burger, I would have known that, or no ketchup, or I would have known. Those are things I would recognize. Was there
Yeah,
lettuce?
like
on
you're
it?
the Lost Boys.
There was,
Yeah.
and that's the sad
That's
thing
fine.
too, is that we had picked you up from LAX, driven to Ventura or wherever the In-N-Out was, went through the
I was
thing,
starving.
picked it up. I ate
Which is
mine.
surprising.
You did not eat
In-
your burger.
yeah.
You were like started working on the sound stuff, so you kept
Yep.
working while I was like feasting, and then you finally
Yep.
sat
That's
down to eat.
typical
and
Bubba right
I'd-
there.
I'd
Typical
eaten
Bubba.
your entire meal.
If those of you don't know Bubba as well as we know him, like that is a normal thing. I'm sure Anna can attest to this. Like Bubba will get food given to him or ordered. Some type of something is going on or it has to be done at some point. Bubba will power through whatever that thing is until the end. 6 hours later, he will open up his food and eat it.
Yeah.
Well, he should have eaten his food right away, and then he
6
would have
hours later.
The
I think
no
Me, I'm like,
onions
just
he
eat and
wanted.
get done. I'm
Honestly,
cranky.
yeah. Aaron might be able to speak to that better than Anna does because Aaron,
Mhm.
not that my wife isn't the most lovely person I've ever met, but Anna doesn't just bring me food when I'm busy. She doesn't do that. And maybe because she knows, Aaron will. She'll be like, hey,
Mhm.
you need to eat this. And I'll be like, okay, I'll
'Cause her
take
dad's
one
the
bite
same
and set
way.
it aside.
And,
Yeah.
and then she'll say something like, "Hey, can you make sure he eats?" I'm like, "I'll give him some water."
Yeah, you got to hit me over the head, cram it down my gullet.
Hey,
Yeah.
eat that. Let's go. Come on.
I have a
two
lot
hands.
of I have a lot of good memories, but I
Um,
yeah, I think the podcast has been a good
So those
catalyst
are-
in that.
Those are interesting because like the memories that we have of each other. I think it was the same trip that we met each other in person for like the first time that we were
Well,
all
you
in
and
the same
Matt
space.
had already met a bunch of times.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah.
got
It was
each
me
way
that
back.
you didn't know.
Yes, we had to literally fly to you in order to
Yeah.
meet you.
Well, why would I
You're
fly out
welcome.
to like both of you?
But I will say that the first time we didn't meet in person, but the first time that we were all on the podcast together, I wasn't sure about it at all. Like,
Yeah, thanks so freaking
Well, it was
much.
it was Matt's idea. That's why.
Matt
You
has a lot of ideas.
You
Most are
that-
pretty good.
Some of them are very pretty good. Others of
Well-
them are like, hey, did you feel good about what we did there? Was that a good thing we did? And so I felt like this was one of those. And honestly, Matt and I, we were still pretty new in our relationship.
Fresh.
We weren't
Oh,
besties yet.
oh, I didn't get that
We're
vibe.
very. Oh,
We
wait.
were
no,
we were acquainted.
went for it.
And Matt was like, hey, longtime listeners know this story. Matt was like, hey, I got this. Don't worry, I got us a third. And I was like, oh, did you? Who body is it? And
body?
it was Kate. And the only thing I knew about Kate
didn't know.
was that she, like, her profile picture was a cartoon version of her sitting on a couch playing video games with a chicken. And I was like,
Like
I don't
normal
know.
life.
That's a good picture.
I don't know if this
Bring
is
it
gonna
back.
work.
Maybe I will.
Who
You
made
judged
that
it.
picture?
You judged me off a cartoon. This guy Daniel, who was a KSM fan that was a man.
Oh,
KS
God.
man.
Okay, right.
Get it? The KS men.
Yes.
He was a very talented. I mean, he's not dead. He is a very talented drawer
well, maybe
of
he's
things.
not talented anymore.
He used to
We'll-
draw
we'll let it be.
comics of my random tweets, and they were so funny.
I love it. Like now,
was so
knowing what I
good.
know about you, it is the most fitting of all of the images of you that exist on the internet. But when you're going into a podcast
No,
and
it's
you're like,
different.
I have to, I don't think at that point, Kate, I'd ever even heard you speak ever.
I'd never talked to you.
Yeah, and Matt was like, she's perfect.
Matt's like,
This will
no,
be
no,
great."
no, it's fine. It'll be fine.
But that's how
Yeah,
Matt works, right?
I'm a good judge of character.
You get lucky is what happens.
I was gonna
Let's be
say
real.
you get lucky because
Get out of here.
I don't. You got. Yeah, you got.
I'm
lucky.
looking at the photo right now. Kate, where's your nose?
Who
What?
needs it?
You have a nose in that picture. I never realized.
Oh,
She's Voldemort.
Maybe he didn't finish drawing it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
I'll be hard pressed to forget a fairly recent memory that I have of watching Matt play hockey, his last hockey game ever.
where he was injured. Yeah.
Mm.
Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, it's triggering him.
It was
Be
good.
careful.
Well, one chip challenge. Come on, you two.
Oh no, I blacked that out of my memory, man. I don't want any piece of that at all
No.
ever again in my entire life.
I love it so much.
If I think about it again, it could happen again, and so I don't want to give that thing power over me.
Yeah,
I've
that
already
made it.
ordered
I don't. That's okay. That look at the question is a memory that
Maybe
you
if
look
it's in a
back on
different flavor.
with
Yeah, strawberry.
fondness or
Supposed to be.
fear. So you could look back on that with fear.
strawberry tortilla.
Okay, I do look on that with fear.
That's a
And
fearful.
Fear and
Kate, you didn't
trepidation.
even do it.
No, I would not. No,
I'd do it again
I would never
You
do
absolutely
that.
would.
No.
for the right price.
Plus, you needed me to shut the stream down. So and you were like, shut it down.
You still
shut
had to
it
be in the
down.
right mind.
So you couldn't.
She's a DD of streams right there. Dude,
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Oh yeah.
You're like, is it still live? Shut it down.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Oh my gosh. No, so
Never
honestly,
again.
this is one of the times where it's like I will probably think about things later, and
You could share things later. I'll put it on the
I
Twitter.
probably will. We'll share them on the Twitter.
If we think of
Twitterverse.
anything else. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we've done so many things together over the years. Like honestly, I get a lot of stuff mixed up. I'm like, was that arcade? Was that free plays?
Yeah, I
Was that
couldn't- I
Game
couldn't- I
Church?
couldn't tell
Or,
anymore. I
Like,
couldn't
what
tell.
was?
I just know I wore a lot of different costumes. So
Yeah,
I know,
what's up
that
with
was-
man. Like,
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean,
was
like,
looking for what-
not even like outfits. Like,
you didn't realize that
costumes.
you do that.
I did realize it. I was actually looking for one for today. I was gonna try to find a robot hand, like one of those like little like grabby ones, like you can pull a trigger and like the
Oh,
hand goes,
yeah.
or a dinosaur one, so you can be like, all right, Matt, let's see it, and I can be like,
Yeah, and there.
I couldn't find one though, so sorry, ruined the surprise.
Maybe next 5-year birthday.
maybe next wrist breakage.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Here,
all right, Kate,
look.
one more question.
One more. Look, I'll just combine this. Why do you think we are such good hosts? And do you think the Free Play podcast should win more awards than it already has?
Oh yeah,
I think
Absolutely, I
that's
can't
an
even
easy
think of
one.
one that we've won.
yeah.
That we know
So
about.
anything would be an improvement.
That we know about. There's-
Yeah. Where's our Grammy? Where's our Tony? Where's our Oscar?
Tony, that's what I'm going for.
Oh.
Anthony, yeah.
Well,
Fat Tony.
I don't know. Maybe we could just submit it. I don't know how it works.
What are podcast awards? Like what are they?
The
BAFTAs? Do
Streamies?
the BAFTAs have a
Streamies?
The EGOT.
Yeah, so that's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, an EGOT.
Yeah, EGOT.
Yeah, I don't ask for much in this world. I just want an EGOT.
No,
I
I
wouldn't
think
gotten
it's
there.
doable. I think it's doable for us. I think the podcast is hitting a good stride right now. I think we're marketable. I
The
think
streamies.
we have like loads of making tons of money every month on ads on this thing.
Oh my gosh, too much money. So much money that I can't buy any of the video games I
Too
want to
much,
play. Yeah.
too much
Oh,
money.
top 3 LTN podcasts. That's I'll take that.
Whoa.
Mm,
Pretty good.
top 3. What are the other ones?
Oh,
Just
don't tell
kidding.
me.
I know what
Yeah,
it is already.
I have a
Church
very
nerds.
I know what they should
Um,
be, and they better be, or else. Why yada.
Okay, so we gotta.
Yeah. I think, hey, like honestly, legitimately, I think the reason that we are so good together, and I'm gonna be real with everybody, we have tried on multiple occasions to kill this podcast.
Oh, would you not say that out loud?
We've tried, and so
Jinxing on it. Okay.
it's one of those things where it's like, man, has it run its course? And like we have legitimate conversations about it often. Basically, at every season, we have that conversation.
Yeah.
Has it
B's
run
in
its
5
course?
things or A's in 3 things.
And
Okay.
the answer is no, not yet, right? And it's not because we're like, oh, well, we'll do the thing because we want to do it. It's like, man, I don't think that the people are done with it yet. And it's not because of how great we are, but I think it's the chemistry we have together. It's, kind of the last time we talked about it was at the major turn of LTN, last year. And that was a bad time. That was a bad time to do anything. So we needed to kind of keep things going. And I think it's kind of like ticked up since then. And so, you know, we just kind of catch these waves. And
yeah, I mean, look how many ideas we have on our topic ideas document. There's like 5.
I keep trying to send them to you to like.
We got 5 more episodes.
We don't run out.
Yeah.
Well, you sent me one that I already had. So
I think that's part of like the reason why we changed the time of the podcast that we record it, because it just makes
more sense.
For Bob and I, it makes more sense. I don't know about Kate.
No, it's fine. I am awake by 8:30.
Kate's gonna go back to bed after this. It's fine.
Yeah. So I think there's been seasons where it's kind of drug, and I think this season's been good, refreshing. You can keep on keeping on. I feel good.
I feel great.
This is far more consistent than Church Nerds is. Like Anna and I were just talking about.
You two, am I right?
Yeah, we're gonna
3 weeks.
Let's get the #1 podcast in LTN. Let's freaking go.
You can have it. Yeah, we'll be lucky if we get one a month out from here on. But I mean, I think it's good. I do. I really do think it's the chemistry, because honestly, with the purpose of the podcast, like we talked about, it's just conversational. It's so that we can build relationships with the people. They have little inside jokes with us, like all sorts of stuff, right? It's a relational podcast between the 3 of us and also the viewer or listener.
Yeah.
And I think that because of that, like the topic is arbitrary.
Whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody only wants to know what we're playing. That's what people.
That's not true. Aaron doesn't like that part. She likes to be.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, she likes the SDS
sorry, Aaron.
Creek. Yeah. And so.
Yeah. I think too that what is so fun to me about this podcast is that this is how we are in pretty much all other
basically
scenarios and situations. So we just get to talk more about other fun things that we don't.
With one caveat, okay? When we've been around each other for a while, Matt and I get this way all the time. Kate, when we're around you as well, it kind of lands there. We just become comfortable just being in the same space as each other.
It's okay. We don't have to perform.
Don't need to talk about anything.
You get bored.
And so like hanging out, texting, when we were all together, we just played a lot of Mortal Kombat. Like, not everything is like
I really liked that.
Podcast worthy, you know?
That was fun.
We beat that game.
Yeah, we did.
We collectively beat that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drew came in clutch. Absolutely clutch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we needed him.
Yeah. Drew's the best.
Yeah, it was.
But I think that is kind of the hallmark of a good friendship is, do you need to fill the silence with something? I'm a big silence filler. Like that, I don't like awkward silences.
Yeah, one of your fatal flaws.
It really is. But I don't find that the silences are awkward with you guys. Like I can't even tell you how many times Matt and I over the last probably LTN have just sat in silence across the room from each other.
We're tired.
Yo, what else are you gonna
out like big time?
Give it all.
But it's fine. Like not needing to entertain the other person. Like, you can't buy that, dude. Like you can't.
I don't have the energy to entertain you too.
Just Mortal Kombat me, bro.
No. Yeah. Like read a book. How about you guys read a book?
No, Mortal Kombat me, bro.
Gross. Well, let's snap. Let's just Marvel snap.
Let's snap. That's a good call.
Snap in silence.